She struggled with physical defense she's faced at the professional level and voiced frustration with the league's officiating, recently telling reporters, quote, "I feel like I'm getting hammered and everybody is physical with me, and opponents get away with things that other people don't get away with." That's what Caitlin Clark said.
Can you believe what just happened to Caitlin Clark? 2 minutes into the game, and she's on the ground holding her face. No foul was called, but the John Karen is now facing suspension for her intentional assault on Clark.
It wasn't, I think, the performance a lot of people were hoping for to see from Caitlin Clark in her first playoff game.
Yeah, I mean, if you think back 4 months ago, this was a very similar performance that we saw in the very first game in her rookie season. Connecticut does that to a lot of people. So it really doesn't matter how good you are or how good you think you are. When you're playing against Connecticut, you're playing against the top defense in the league. You are playing against a team that holds teams to their lowest scoring, who holds teams to their lowest rebounding effort. They know how to really get in there and shake it up.
Clark had to keep playing. After that, her game was totally off. She only made 4 out of 17 shots. That's not the Caitlin Clark. We know it's clear. The EI Pook threw her off her game.
Look, I'm not pissed to the point where I'm annoyed and I'm going to call people out their names, or especially people that I love, like the person I'm about to talk about in a few minutes. But certain things need to be corrected for the record.
Now, everyone's asking, was it an accident? Or did the John Carringtons just cross a line? You're about to see how this moment could change everything. For Clark and the WNBA,
where's the mention of the fact that the Michael Jordan of the WNBA was assaulted, has a black eye during the second half of the game because Dijoni Carrington stabbed her with her fingernails in the eye?
This Clark, the college superstar, steps onto the court for her first WNBA playoff game. The crowd's buzzing expectations are sky high, then bam, she's down clutching her eye, the arena goes silent. No whistle. Just shock.
Carrington should be suspended. It's criminal that there was no flagrant call here.
Here, now people are calling for Dijoni Carrington to be suspended. They're saying it wasn't just a foul. It was a brutal assault. Strong words, right? But that's how heated this is getting. Fans are going nuts, demanding justice for Clark.
And I don't care which direction it flows. If it's white against black bigotry, I don't like it. If it's black against white bigotry, I don't like it. We have black against white bigotry here on full display. People need to man up and Christian up and call it out as they see it. Get out of your racial idolatry, get out of your fear.
And let's be real, there's another layer to this. Some are whispering that race and sexuality are playing a part in how Clark's being treated on the court. It's a sensitive topic, but it's one that's bubbling up in conversations around the league.
She can handle, she certainly can pass, okay? I look at it from that standpoint and I say mad respect.
This isn't just any rookie we're talking about. It's Caitlin Clark, the one everyone says will change the game. But now she's facing a challenge no one saw coming. How she handles this could make or break her pro career. You might be thinking it's just one play, but here's where it gets interesting in this moment. It's bigger than Clark. It's about the WNBA, its stars, and how the league protects them, or doesn't.
Caitlin Clark is college basketball's biggest star. She's must-see TV, and she's growing the game in what some are calling the Caitlin Clark effect.
Now, you might be thinking Clark's got this in the bag after her stellar college career. Think again. The WNBA is not just a step up, it's a whole different game. And Clark, she's learning that the hard way. What happens when the college superstar becomes the rookie? Target.
35 points for the Fever in that win. She also added another 8 assists to her collection yesterday, which earlier in the weekend, Caitlin Clark set the single season assist record in the WNBA, the most prolific passer in WNBA history. She is now the all-time rookie leader in points, assists, and three-pointers. There is exceeding expectations, and then there is whatever Caitlin Clark continues to do in her rookie season in the WNBA.
Remember, Caitlin Clark, the unstoppable force of college basketball, the one who broke records left and right, making it look easy. Well, welcome to the WNBA, where easy doesn't exist. Clark stepped into a league where every player is a pro, and they're not rolling out the red carpet for her.
For those of you who don't know, she's a former star at Iowa in college, played in the national championship game before losing to South Carolina. She's #1 overall pick for the WNBA draft. She is a special talent.
Let's break it down in college. Clark was the queen of the court. She could shoot from anywhere, make plays that left defenders spinning and rack up points. Like it was nothing. Everyone was talking about how she changed the game in the pros. But here's the thing, the WNBA is changing her game first. You've got to understand this league is tough. We're talking about the best of the best women who've been battling it out for years. They're stronger, faster, and a whole lot more physical than what Clark faced in college. And they're not about to let some rookie walk in and take over.
Made it crinkle up and point down straight into the eye of Caitlin Clark. That's intentional, and everybody knows it. But no, let's don't discuss it.
Let's talk about that eye. Pookie 2 minutes into her first playoff game, and Clark's already feeling the heat. It's like the league saying, welcome to the big leagues. Kid, this isn't just about one play. It's a wake-up call. Clark's realizing she's got to adapt, and fast.
She is box office. We can lament it all we want to, but the fact of the matter is, Caitlin Clark is box office.
But here's where it gets really interesting. The WNBA is facing a dilemma. They've got this superstar rookie who's bringing in fans and attention like nobody's business, but they're also known for their physical play. So what do? Protect their new golden goose? Or keep the game as tough as it's always been?
And all of a sudden, we're pretty close. This has been as close as it's been all second quarter long, 44.
Just trying to just get the pass. She got.
Question is, will they call it unnecessary? Kennedy Carter.
Look at the numbers. Clark's been on the receiving end of 177% of the league's flagrant fouls. That's not a typo. She's getting hit hard, and often it's like there's a target on her back, and every player in the league is taking aim.
Caitlin needs to toughen up, and I think she will. I think that's part of her learning process, because it's like the flops.
You might be wondering, is this fair? Should the league step in? Well, that's the million-dollar question. Some say Clark needs to toughen up, that this is just part of the game. Others are calling for more protection, saying the league can't afford to let its new star get beaten up every night.
Take hits a little bit more. You want to be able to, and not be like, oh my God, they're like acting like a victim out there. You're a great basketball player. Part of being a great basketball player is learning how to take the hits and how to be physical and handle that stuff.
For Clark, this is a whole new challenge. She's not just learning new plays or adjusting to the speed of the pro game. She's learning how to survive in a league where everyone's gunning for the new star. It's not just about skill anymore. It's about toughness, both physical and mental. Think the WNBA is all about fair play. Think again. There's a secret rule book that's tearing the league apart, and Clark's right in the middle of it. The question is, should the new star get special treatment or take her lumps like everyone else?
The WNBA loves to brag about the fact that they are a very physical league.
Now, you're probably wondering, why didn't the refs call a foul on that eye pookie? Well, that's where things get interesting. The WNBA has always prided itself on being a tough physical league. It's part of their identity, but with stars like Clark coming in and changing the game, they're facing a huge dilemma.
What a lot of players and coaches said about Caitlin Clark and about the rookie class coming into the league is that that was going to be something that they would need to adjust to. They would need to adjust to the physicality of this league. It's very physical, and you're not going to get the same kind of looks that you did in college. Like, the list goes on. These WNBA players, GMs, coaches, all of the above like to take pride in the fact that the league is very physical.
On one side, you've got the old school mentality. These players and coaches believe that everyone should be treated the same on the court, rookie or veteran. They say the physical play is what makes the WNBA unique and exciting. But on the other side, there's a growing voice saying that stars like Clark need more protection.
My issue and my question is, where the fuck are her teammates at? Where y'all at? Where the rest of the Indiana Fever at? I've seen a couple girls smirk when she's got knocked down, half-assed to pick her up. Like, y'all supposed to protect the asset, protect the star. And all this is the team, she's the star. You always protect your star. I was someone who protected the star.
You might be thinking, where's the protection for the WNBA's biggest stars? And you're right. This is where it gets really interesting.
It's her teammates, and particularly Nylisa Smith, to do the fighting for. You remember when Carmela Cardoso and I think it was Flau'jae Johnson in the NCAA tournament, someone put hands on Flau'jae, and Carmela Cardoso, 6'7" center, now plays for Chicago South, shoved the girl to the ground, came right over there and said, "Not in my house." Cardoso playing her role. They have to have that in Indiana. It's not Aaliyah Boston's job, and I know she's got the size, but that's not her personality. Aaliyah Boston is one of the nicest, most positive people on the planet. Plus, she's an offensive player. She's the #1 draft pick, but mostly it's just personality. There's nothing ghetto about Aaliyah Boston.
The WNBA needs enforcers, just like other games have, you know, those tough players who keep the bullies in check and make sure dirty plays don't go unpunished. Let's break it down. The WNBA is at a crossroads. They've got this incredible new talent in Clark, who's bringing in fans and attention like never before. But if she's constantly getting roughed up, how long will that last? It's not just about Clark, it's about the future of the league.
It's not just the sport, it's the entertainment of the sport, and you need to protect your superstars. And the WNBA has not done well this entire season of protecting their one superstar who brought in more eyeballs than anyone else has ever done in the league. She should have a special whistle.
You might be thinking, doesn't the NBA protect its stars? And you'd be right. The NBA has what some call a superstar whistle, where the biggest names tend to get more favorable calls. But the WNBA, they've always played by different rules.
I honestly think that the physicality in the WNBA is going to hurt it in the long run.
Critics are starting to argue that this tough physical Saint might actually be hurting the league's growth. New fans coming to see players like Clark are expecting to see a fast, dynamic game. Instead, they're seeing their new favorite player get knocked around without any calls.
And the WNBA has not done well this entire season of protecting their one superstar who brought in more eyeballs than anyone else has ever done in the league. She should have a special whistle. Calls like this should be made, should be reviewed. People should know right off the bat, it shouldn't be the first round of the playoffs that players think that they can still do this kind of thing to Caitlin Clark.
It's important for the WNBA to prioritize protecting its superstars, like Clark. Ensuring the safety and well-being of its top players helps preserve the integrity of the league and maintains fan interest by giving their stars the necessary support. The league can continue to showcase its most talented athletes while ensuring they can perform at their best. The league's caught between protecting its new superstar and keeping the game physical. And Clark, she's caught right in the middle. She's got to find a way to adapt to this tougher style of play while still showcasing the skills that made her famous.
Because it's like the flops the falling down. Even she had the little thing with Angel in that game where Angel kind of just did, and like she just overreacts. So I think she has to just get a handle on that a little bit, just her body.
Everyone's debating the rules. There's another factor at play. What if the refs are seeing Clarke differently than we do? Her reputation as both a rising star and a perceived flopper might be changing the game in ways we never expected.
On top of that, let's act like we know who Caitlin Clarke is. Let's act like we didn't watch Caitlin Clarke throughout the course of her career shove girls just for the sake of shoving them, flop all over the place just because. Again, you have to know what you're talking about. And to your point, Mike, I do have issue with the fact.
You see, Caitlin Clarke isn't just facing challenges from other players on the court. She's up against something even trickier. Her own reputation. It's like she's caught in this weird paradox. On one hand, she's this incredible talent breaking records and drawing fans. Like crazy. But on the other, some people are calling her a flopper. Now, you might be wondering, how did Clarke end up with this reputation? It all started back in college. She was so good at drawing fouls that some folks started saying she was exaggerating. Contact and that talk, it followed her right into the applause pros. Here's where it gets really interesting. Remember, that eye pookie we talked about, some people are saying the refs might not have called it. Because of how they see Clarke, it's like they're thinking, is she really hurt? Or is this just another Clarke flop?
Clarke making too much of it. Is she exaggerating it, trying to get the call? You can think both things. You can think, hey, this is on purpose and it's a dirty play. But you could also think, is Caitlin Clarke making too much of this?
This isn't just about one play or one game. It's changing how Clarke has to approach every single moment on the court. She's in this crazy position where she needs to draw fouls to be effective, but if she sells the contact too much, she risks reinforcing that flopper label.
Looks like the eye's better. Do you feel anything? Any pain issues?
It feels good. It looks okay too, so I'm glad.
But here's the thing, Clarke isn't taking this lying down. She's working hard to change how people see her. You'll see her fighting through contact, trying to finish plays. Even when she's getting knocked around, it's like she's saying, look, I'm tough, I can take it. And it's not just about Clarke. This whole situation is forcing the league to take a hard look at how they officiate games. Do they call it tighter to protect stars, like Clarke? Or do they let the physical play continue, even if it means their new superstar takes a beating?
Yeah, overall, it didn't bother me. Obviously, it didn't feel too good when it happened, but it is what it is.
This one thing's for sure. Clarke's got a tough road ahead. She's not just fighting opponents on the court, she's fighting perceptions. And that might be her toughest battle. Yet every game, every play, she's got to prove herself not just as a player, but as someone who can take the heat of the pro game. Let's recap what's going down with Caitlin Clarke. She's facing a whole new world in the WNBA. And that eye poke, it's just the start. The league's caught between protecting its new star and keeping the game tough. And Clarke, she's right in the middle of it all.
We love to see a good clapback, right? And no one does that better than Caitlin Clarke.
Now everyone's waiting to see how Clarke handles this. Will she bounce back and show she can take the heat, or will this throw her off her game? The way she responds could make or break her pro career. Here's the thing, Clarke's not just playing for herself anymore. She's carrying the hopes of a whole league on her shoulders. How she deals with this rough play could change the WNBA for years to come. One thing's for sure, all eyes are on Caitlin Clarke. Now,